I tore the vent cover off the bedroom wall with shaking hands, fingernails snapping, eyes stinging from tears, and there it was, a tiny black lens buried deep inside the ductwork, pointing directly at our bed. I felt my knees buckle. My heart thrashed like it was trying to claw its way out of my chest. He had been watching me, not just checking in, watching me, live, breathe, undress, sleep, all while whispering he loved me. That morning, Dave had screamed at me for 20 minutes straight because I wore lip gloss to the grocery store. Said I wanted attention. Said I was slipping around. I stood there silent, holding eggs, wondering how much longer until he hit me. Now I knew he had never trusted me because he never planned to. And that was the moment I realized I was not living with a partner. I was living with a predator. Before I go deeper into the story, I want to take a quick moment to say thank you to everyone who has subscribed to this channel. Thank you for being here and helping this community grow. And to all our new and returning viewers who are still considering it, I cannot wait for you to hit that subscribe button. Your support is the fuel that powers this channel and makes it possible for stories like mine to reach the people who need to hear them most. Please do not forget to share your thoughts in the comments below. Your voices matter. Now, let me take you back to the beginning, when I still thought I was safe. My name is Kristen. I am 40 years old, and I live in a quiet town in Kentucky. Or I did, before everything changed. I met Dave when I was 34. He was funny, charming, a little older, 41 at the time, and made me feel seen after a divorce that nearly crushed me. He was everything my ex-husband was not. Attentive, romantic, consistent. That was how it always starts, right? For the first year, he worshipped the ground I walked on. But slowly, that attention turned inward, like a mirror held too close to the sun. First it burned, then it consumed. Dave started getting jealous over little things. The way I laughed at the cashier's joke. The time I smiled at a neighbor's dog. He made me feel guilty for wearing fitted clothes, even in the summer heat. Why do you need to look good if I am the only one who sees you? He would say. I stopped wearing makeup. I changed my number. I lost touch with my best friend, Shannon, because Dave said she was a bad influence. Every time I resisted, he flipped it on me, said I was ungrateful, that he was just trying to protect what is his. I began to believe it. I began to believe him. But something always felt wrong. The turning point came on a Wednesday. I was in the bedroom folding laundry when I noticed a strange flicker of red light behind the air vent. I tried to ignore it, told myself it was just the smoke alarm or a reflection or a trick of the light. But curiosity, or maybe survival, got the better of me. I unscrewed the panel, and there it was, a camera. It was small, sleek, and intentionally placed. Not something accidentally dropped. Not something for security. It was aimed at the bed. Our bed. My body. I remember staring at it for what felt like hours. My skin crawling, brain screaming. How long has this been here? What else has he seen? What else? Did he install? The worst part? Deep down, I knew this was not the only one. And that was the first time I realized I was being hunted in my own home. But what I did not know was that he was not just watching me through cameras. He was inside my phone, inside my mind, and soon, he would use my own words to try and destroy me. I did not sleep that night. I just lay there, rigid under the sheets beside him, his arm thrown across my waist like we were still us. All the while, my eyes burned holes into the ceiling, wondering how many places he had drilled into my privacy, into my soul. The next morning, I acted normal. I kissed his cheek, made his coffee, pretended everything was fine because I had no clue how much danger I was actually in. And I knew, deep in my gut, If he caught on that I knew, he would find a way to break me before I could escape. I called Shannon. The first call in over a year. I had to use the neighbor's phone. When she answered, I could not even say hello. I just started sobbing. Shannon was the first person to suggest spyware. She told me flat out, "Kristen, cameras are just the surface. If he planted those, he could be in your phone, your emails, your texts." That was when it all clicked. The way he always knew what I was doing, even when I never told him. The time I searched for a therapist and he suddenly said, "You're not thinking of talking to strangers about me, are you?" The time I messaged my sister about needing space, and he stormed in hours later, accusing me of plotting. I felt sick, violated. I handed Shannon my phone. She took it to her tech friend, Mark. An hour later, she called me back. Her voice was tight. "Kristen, your phone has a remote access app. Hidden. Masked under a fake system update. It is spyware. He can see everything." When I confronted Dave, I expected rage. What I got was worse. He stared at me, calm as winter stone, smiled and said, "That's what you are upset about. Really? I installed the camera months ago after that break-in down the road. Remember? You thanked me." I blinked. I did not remember that. Did I? "And your phone?" I asked, trying not to cry. "You have been reading my messages?" He stepped closer. "I do not read anything you do not want me to see. Maybe if you had nothing to hide, you would not care." He said it like I was the one violating him. I started shaking. "You are gaslighting me, Dave. This is abuse." He laughed. "You really have been watching too many of those trauma shows. You are starting to sound like a victim." That night, I started sleeping with a chair wedged under the bedroom door. Not because I thought he would hurt me, because I finally realized he already was. 2 days later, Dave sat across the table with a cold grin and slid his phone toward me. "Thought you might want to explain this." I looked down and saw it. Screenshots. Conversations. Me. Messaging my sister about running away. About staying with her. About turning him in. Only. I never sent them. "Why are you lying to me, Kristen?" He asked softly. "I did not write those," I whispered. "But they are from your number." I could barely breathe. He was not just reading my words now. He was rewriting them. And that was when I knew. If I did not escape soon, he would erase everything I was, one fake message, one hidden camera, one silent scream at a time. But what he did not know was that I had started recording too. I hid the voice recorder inside an empty bottle of shampoo, tucked it behind the sink where he would never look. It felt insane, living like a spy in my own home. But the fake messages, the cameras, the spyware, they were not just signs of control anymore. They were tools of war. And I finally understood I was not in a relationship. I was in captivity. I needed proof. Not just for myself, but for anyone who might question me when I ran. Because I knew Dave. If I escaped, he would not just chase me. He would destroy me. So I recorded everything. The way he interrogated me when I got home from work. The cruel jokes disguised as concern. The nights he paced the living room whispering to himself, checking the cameras, watching me through the television screen. The final recording happened by accident. We were eating dinner, silent, like always, when he suddenly said, "If you ever leave me, I will make sure no one believes a word you say." I looked up. His voice was calm. Even, like he was commenting on the weather. "I will show people what is on your phone. All the nasty things you said about your family, your boss, your past." He smiled. "Even if you did not say them. You know how easy it is to fake a text now?" He sipped his drink and chuckled. "But you will never leave. Because you do not have the spine." What he did not know was that the recorder in my shampoo bottle had picked up every word. And for the first time in years, I felt something I had not felt in so long. Power. The escape was not cinematic. It was messy,
Terrifying. Silent.
I waited until he left to run errands on a Friday afternoon. I already had a bag packed in the trunk of my car, hidden under a blanket. Shannon was waiting 5 minutes down the road with a full tank of gas and a burner phone. I drove straight to a women's shelter in Lexington, gave them my name, showed them the recordings, the spyware, the camera I had pulled from the wall. They believed me, and that broke me more than anything else. It has been 9 months. Dave was served a restraining order. The police found evidence of other spyware programs he used, ones I never even knew about. There is an ongoing case, but I do not care how long it takes, because I am free now. I go to therapy every week. I volunteer at a support group for women who have lived through this exact kind of silent hell. And the other day, one of them asked me, "How did you survive it?" I told her the truth. I stopped trying to convince him I was not what he said I was. And I started proving to myself that I was still real, still whole, still worth escaping for. To everyone listening, thank you. If any part of this story hits home, I need you to know you are not crazy. You are not too sensitive. You are not imagining it. If you feel watched, controlled, manipulated, you are probably right. Speak up. Reach out. Document what you can. Make a plan. You are not alone. Please remember to drop a comment and share your thoughts about the story. I read every single one. And if you found strength or truth in Kristen's journey, like this video, share it with someone who needs it and subscribe to the channel. Your support keeps stories like this alive. Until next time, stay safe, stay strong, and never doubt your gut.